across to my panel this evening. Shatarupa, BJP leader, joining me on the show. I'm speaking with Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, co-founder and MD of Hiranandani Group. Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC, with me on the show. A. Sarvanan, DMK spokesperson, will be on shortly. I can see a color bar right now, but we'll hope to speak to him in a bit. Bhavya Narasimhan Murthy, Congress spokesperson, also joining us. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for speaking with us. Shailesh Gandhi, let me come to you first on, the point we're trying to make of the lack of value of human lives in this country across cities. And all we see is just constant blame games.
First and foremost, Tamanna, let me start with asking for forgiveness for the people who died in Morbi. I think it's very important. Everybody talks of condoling. Condolences are for those who are alive. For those who are dead, there is nothing. Young lives lost, which may have had a very bright future, even before they actually stepped out of their houses, they've been killed. And this is happening everywhere. I heard on one of these shows that 2 people lose their lives averagely because of open manholes. And we are very forgiving. In fact, let me put it like this. The flooded streets of Mumbai or of Chennai or of Bengaluru is a story that is repeated every year. I sometimes wonder whether news channels take it as a standard slot for certain periods in the year when they'll talk of flooding, when they'll talk of pollution and so on and so forth. But are we looking for solutions? Are we trying to say, why is this not solved? 2 submissions I'd like to make. One, our infrastructure attention is very poor. And when the event occurs, we talk about it. After that, we forget about it. And I think I wish the media were to take up a program once a week for 1 hour about what went wrong. As far as accidents like Morbi are concerned, I can assure you, nothing is going to happen to anybody. Nobody will pay for it.
No one wants to take responsibility. I want to mention over here, and I want to show all the windows. Mr. Sarvanan of the DMK was to join this show. At the last minute, he is disconnected and said he doesn't want to talk about this. Mr. Sarvanan, did you hear my introduction today and decide you don't want to answer questions on why Chennai buckled? What's the problem, sir? What's the problem, Mr. Sarvanan? You can come in, you can answer questions. People are watching. A high-level meeting was held today. Come and tell us what is the outcome of that meeting. Where is the accountability? Politicians don't want to answer questions. We invite you once again, Mr. Sarvanan. You can come in and watch. The DMK spokesperson has walked out of the show before it even began, before the first question was put to him. You want to tell us why, sir? We're waiting for your calls. Viewers, we're waiting for your calls. Shatarupa, please join us and explain where is the accountability? Who is supposed to be accountable? I'm going to the BJP spokesperson. Ma'am, I think I'll have to thank you for at least taking some questions on this show. Some parties don't want to take questions. Yes, ma'am.
Tamanna, firstly, what has happened in Gujarat is a horrific incident. I mean, I have no words to even begin to apologize to the people of Gujarat, to the families of the people who have lost their lives. And since you are talking about accountability, I think this is one state where immediate accountability is sought for. And, I think about 7 to 10 people have been arrested. And there's going to be an inside interrogation. We're going to get to the bottom of this. BJP governments are known to do this. But since you do have me on the show today, you've not mentioned anything about the state of West Bengal. I come from the state of West Bengal, where repeatedly we have incidents of waterlogging. We have incidents of people getting electrocuted in the monsoon because of open wires lying all over. We have incidents of fire, rampant fire incidents. We also have number of bridges falling down. We had very recently an unfortunate incident in North Bengal, where Mal River, there was people had gone there for Durga Puja Visarjan, and were swept away. Despite several warnings from the weather department, there was absolutely no
No,
concern,
ma'am,
no
what is your
intent.
point? Because this is what I mean, ma'am. Everyone wants to pick up the state where they are in opposition and talk about infrastructure there. Why don't you talk
Tamanna,
about the
that's not what I'm
many
doing.
cities which are under BJP rule?
No, that's not what I'm doing, Tamanna. What I'm trying to tell you is BJP is one party which insists on accountability. Yes, we as a party, since we're the largest party, I'm sure there are people who do not match up to our ideology and who would like to take the shortcut to success, so to say. So you will have people who will paint, paint fresh paint
Or
over a
I'm
bridge
taking
which is
taking
rotting.
the viewer's voice. Shifali is on the phone line. Do I have Shifali? I'm going to speak to the viewers. I want the viewers to give, their voice, and everyone must listen. Shatrupa spoke about ideology. Do you know what? Dilapidated bridges don't have an ideology. Roads
they
that
don't.
cave in
They
don't
don't.
have an ideology. People, when they die because of poor infrastructure, don't remember their ideology. Shifali, I want to hear your voice. What do you have to say?
Hi, Tamanna. So I have just one point to make. Every time we have a disaster that comes into play, we have different political party representatives who come on camera. Honestly, we don't really care about political parties anymore. When this kind of a disaster happens, who do we ask questions to? My child goes to school every day. I go to work every day. Something happens to me. Nobody is accountable. My death cannot be held accountable to a civic body. Who is responsible? Who do we ask questions to? This is not about a political party blame game. I mean, these guys are fighting like kindergarten kids. This is about who is responsible. Who, as a citizen, who pays taxes? Who do I hold responsible for the collapsing infrastructure in Bombay, which is supposed to be a super city and the richest municipal corporation? Who is going to answer my question?
I'm going to take your question, and he is not responsible, but I've called Mr. Hiranandani on this show because he understands infrastructure and he understands how cities are built. Mr. Hiranandani, at least in Mumbai, and I see this in a lot of big cities, all of the infrastructure gets pushed by private development and private developers. Because you are interested that your project works, you will ensure that the road around it is decent. You will ensure that, there is some facility, there are some gardens. But then that becomes only for those who can afford your flats. Don't you think you are grappling as a part of this ecosystem with what little respect there is for infrastructure?
Tamanna, you are absolutely correct. We cannot be as short-sighted as to say that we will look around something around my own house or around my own building or around my own township. But in reality, we have to look beyond it. I think first and foremost, the commitment to quality infrastructure is somewhat lacking across the country. And I think this is extremely important. As you mentioned earlier in the introduction, there is no shortage of money. For example, as you said, Mumbai Municipal Corporation has more than 70,000 crores in the bank itself for the purposes of fixed deposits. Now, obviously, this could be used much more. And on the other hand, when they want to create new infrastructure, it can happen. So, for instance, we are doing 300 kilometers of new metro. We are working on the Cross Harbour Bridge. We are working on the coastal road. All this infrastructure is being developed. But are we making a quality infrastructure which will prevent flooding or will not have potholes? That's a good question that we need to ask, not only for the infrastructure to be developed, but for every item. So if a bridge is failing or if there is a collapse, I think the questions need to be asked. And as our speaker, as the person on telephone said,
yes,
there's no point in blame gaming any political party. I think the system is failing. And all the political parties need to actually come together and say that, look, now we are going to fix this. We take responsibility so that A doesn't happen, B doesn't happen, C doesn't happen. And we got the Chief Minister of Maharashtra to make a statement that he's going to convert every road in Mumbai into a concrete road in the next 2 years.
No, I'm so sorry for my skepticism, but I've heard statements and promises for too long.
I agree with you.
Bala Ganesh, let's listen to the voice of the people today. Guys, we want to listen to your voice. Please call in, we're waiting. Bala Ganesh is joining us. Sir, you are from Chennai? You have to put your TV on mute. Yes, yes, Mr. Ganesh.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
See, I'm living at Chennai in a suburban area called Adambakam near airport. Good evening.
Right. Yes, go ahead, sir, and put your TV on mute.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'll echo. Yeah.
Okay. See, every year, water comes into our flats where I'm staying. In our area, completely it is flooded. After informing the people, the local councillors and the corporation people comes and breaks somewhere to let out the water. Every year it's happening. And the roads are all heightened to till 4 feet. So we are always in trouble when the rainy season comes. The entire
What do you think, Mr. Ganesh, of the fact that Mr. Saravanan has refused to come on the show today and take your question? The DMK spokesperson, Mr. Saravanan, I'm inviting you again. Please come and take questions from people of this country, of people of this city.
Yes.
Yes,
see,
Mr. Ganesh.
See, let me tell you, see, none of the political parties, I'm not blaming about the DMK alone. The previous rulers also, they have not concerned about the citizen staying here in Chennai. And they have not made any proper way of the water to flow out. Lots of illegal constructions and the waterways are blocked. And nothing is getting materialized as a permanent solution.
Because it doesn't cost them not to fix the problem. Bhavya Narasimhan Murthy is joining us. Bhavya ji, thank you for coming on the show. You're from the Congress party, and we've tried to represent all parties because all parties have some representation in some state or the other, have ruled in various levels at some point or the other. It's one big colossal mess, very difficult to find out where to point the fingers. Who do you think should be held responsible? You're on mute, madam. Aap mute par ho.
When we talk about the blame game, the regular disasters that happen in infrastructure, if it doesn't cost lives, yes, we can blame each other. But when it comes to lives, human lives, I think all the political parties should come together and think and question, what was the real reason? I think the basic reasons are 3, according to what I saw, according to the facts. 1, the failure in governance. Take, for example, Morbi Bridge. 1, the safety certificate was not issued. 2, there was no crowd control. The bridge was only capable of holding 1 people, but they didn't control the crowd. 3, the company that it was given to was a cloth manufacturing company. They didn't have any expertise or experience in this. And then 135 people, of which 47 are children. When we see these kinds of disasters are happening across India in some of the important cities, including Bengaluru, like last week, there were 2 deaths because of potholes.
Yes.
Who is responsible? You made a very good point that until we fix responsibility, someone gets the punishment for this kind of arrogance and negligence. I don't think we can fix this at all. And that one side, but what I am appalled is at the insensitivity and the apathy of this ruling government. Because I still remember there are pothole deaths happening in Bengaluru, but when the Prime Minister came to Bengaluru to visit, 20 crores were
Bhaveji,
spent.
when there was a Congress government in Bengaluru, there were no potholes. Are you saying that?
If you compare these,
Did the potholes come with the BJP?
There are 22,000 potholes in Bengaluru today as per the BBMP commissioner. And they spend 30 crore rupees every year only to fix it. More than 30 crore.
I have been seeing the creative people of Bangalore making memes on the potholes for several years, including when there was a Congress government. Let's not kid ourselves. This is what viewers really are talking about. Everyone wants to point fingers. How about pointing the finger at yourself? Who has gotten sacked for poor infrastructure? I want to pull up the list of dilapidated bridges that have broken in this country and the people who have died because of it. Let's pull up that graphic, please. As we wait for more callers, guys, we want to hear from you. Yes. Yes. Please look at the list of under construction bridges in this country that have killed people. Should we now start counting which state government, which municipality, which party? What about the people who died? Infrastructure does not matter. Shailesh Gandhi, the fact is infrastructure does not matter. It is not an election issue. Nobody pays the price except the citizen. You're on mute, sir. I can't hear you.
Let me share with you what I believe is a fundamental problem. Until we address that, we'll continue like this. We do not punish those who mess up. We do not have the capacity to punish those who mess up. Our judicial system goes on and on and on, and big and powerful people do not have to pay at all. Even the Morbi thing, the senior people have not even been named in the FIR right now. Ubhar theatre, if you remember, 1997, 59 people died in a fire in a theatre. 20 years later, the courts held them guilty, and I think the total amount of actual imprisonment was less than 6 months. 59 people died. And this continues. Everything, we have Commissions of Inquiry Act, we appoint a Commission of Inquiry. The law says 6 months they should give a report. Most Commissions of Inquiry take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. By that time, everything becomes irrelevant. We must fix responsibility and we must
We're talking about Mumbai, where our office is in Lower Parel, less than a kilometer away. There is a bridge which was dilapidated. It took 2 years to break. It's been another 3 years and the bridge is still getting made. Mr. Hiranandani is smiling. He knows the traffic in this area because of it. You know how many dilapidated and insecure bridges there are in this city which still have people on it? I have callers. Prabhu from Chennai is joining us. Captain Jaiswal from Rohtak, stay with us. We're listening to you. Yes, Mr. Prabhu from Chennai.
Tamanna?
Yes, sir.
Tamanna, see, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Tamanna, see, in India is the only country you can see there is no accountability. India is the only country there is no accountability. In Morbi bridge, okay, 135 people have died. Most of them children are from women. Okay, only that no, the people who are arrested, the bottom line of the people, security person, okay, the ticket checker, okay, those who are in the basic employees. What about the politicians? What about the the owner of the company? Okay. So what about the responsible person? Who is the responsible person? Either is an elected government, either is an the municipal corporation, or either is the owner of the company. Who is the responsible? The innocent. What is the innocent children, the women of the country.
Absolutely. You know, what was appalling, what was, Mr. Prabhu, what was appalling about the Morbi case is in the first few hours, people were trying to blame the victim, saying that they were shaking the bridge. It is a suspension bridge. What about the fact that it was opened early without a fitness certificate? That came up later. We are very happy to blame the victims. I want to hear from Captain Jaiswal from Rohtak. Yes, Mr. Jaiswal, good evening.
Good evening, Tamanna, and you have a very distinguished panel. I would like to join your total emergency in taking up a very vital issue. You see,
Yes, sir.
it is a case of reverse merit. Merit list has been put upside down. People who do not have any values, who can be bought, who have no spine, they are ruling you. When they rule you, you who have got the spine, values, class, grace and shame, they can be easily threatened. And it happens in the society also. So apart from blaming politicians all, we do not as citizens form a society, fight for our rights and take the issue to the court. For example, these all unnatural deaths under Article 21, when you are going for a job, minimum compensation should be 5 crores. And right from the Chief Minister and all officers should be asked to pay the percentage. Let us see how they can get away with us. But again, sorry to say that we all are equally to be blamed. All the 4 pillars of democracy have that right totally collapsed. Few of us, we can try, we are under threat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Jaiswal. Joining us from Rohtak, he is talking about the problem of a society which does not value itself. I hope you can hear those phone lines ringing. I can hear them, and I'm pleased to hear from you. I want to hear from you tonight because, you know, it's enough. No disrespect to the politicians on this panel, but we hear them day in and day out saying the other party is to blame. Let's hear from you. Surendra from Bengaluru on the phone line. Yes, Mr. Surendra.
Good evening, Tamanna. Thank you for organizing such a beautiful show. And it's very, very important than any other topics to be spoken. First and foremost,
Yes.
I want to tell you that I'm a resident of Bangalore from birth. So I've been seeing a lot of topics on the same, the road safeties and the bridges and constructions. Last month, the month before that, if you would have seen, the whole of Outer Ring Road was flooded. And you don't know like how many accidents have happened, how many people happen to, break their own vehicle. People were stranded. Why this is happening? End of the day, be it BJP, Congress, XYZ, people don't know about it. The city which was supposed to be a lake, city of lakes and gardens, now it's completely concrete. Who authorized them to do this? Right? 10 years, Congress sits. They do all the changes in the name of development, and they break the city into pieces. Again, BJP comes. They also do the same. End of the day.
I want to get Bhavya up on screen to listen to you. Bhavya and Shatrupa from the BJP. Please listen to what this caller is saying. He's saying stop blaming each other. The Congress had 10 years. Who told you to concretize the city? What happened to Garden City? No wonder there was nowhere for the water to go. Then the BJP comes and does the same thing. Then you blame each other on panels. This gentleman is saying, I've seen my city, get decayed before my eyes. Yes, Bhavya, what would you respond to him?
So if you're talking about the white topping and the concrete, there are some scientific specifications that needs to be followed, for drainage water to go, every 5 meters or something like that. Very specific ones. I have read about it. Only if those get clogged and regularly, if the BBMP doesn't maintain, that is when the water gets clogged. It's not about the roads or the developmental project, but it's about who takes it forward and how, what kind of expertise they are using. And
are you saying the BBMP elections don't have any political interference in it? They come from another planet.
That's a good point, because BBMP elections are due for the past 2 years.
Okay, Surendra, are you satisfied with that response? Surendra is on the phone line. Let's involve our citizen viewers. Yes, Surendra, are you satisfied with that response?
we don't need a response or talks on this. We want to see the work by Congress or BJP or anybody else.
Listen, I hope the panel listens to the voices coming in today. Thank you for that, Surendra. I'm going to take Aslam's voice very quickly. Aslam joining me from Satara. Aslam, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I'm just watching this, the whole Tutu Meme on the show. The problem lies beyond now the Bijli Sadak Pani. Bijli Sadak Pani. And the problem lies with the total policy making. And the state government, the central government, and the local government. They are involved in this whole act of fraud, actually. Because if you visualize the heavy rains in Pune, be it in Pune, be it in Chennai, be it in Mumbai, or regarding that accident, not accident actually, it is a man-made accident in Morbi. The whole thing lies with the policy, what they are doing, what the urban department is doing. And every minister likes to have the urban department under his hold.
You know, that's such a good point. Why is every minister fighting for the urban department? Madhavan Narayan joining us on this show. Madhavan, great to have you on the show. Our phone lines are buzzing this evening. People want to come out and speak about what they've been suffering because they're silent sufferers. And we need to talk about what really matters to them. Aslam is asking a very important question this evening. He's saying, why is everyone fighting for the urban department portfolio, but nothing develops there? Yes, Madhavan?
Well, I don't know. It's very simple. We do not have a system of local accountability. You have movements like the Janagraha in Bengaluru, which have tried to do something about it. But they've only been pressure groups manned, unfortunately, by people who were educated and sort of even well-to-do. But, Bangalore even used to have something called the Bangalore Action Task Force, and there are similar groups in Chennai, Mumbai, Pune, everywhere. But these do not, are not capable of getting votes, or they are not, politically powerful in any other way. So, I have constructive suggestions like, the fact that this class, which believes that infrastructure is important, must begin to form election funds and actually contribute and influence to some civil society pressure. But the important point is, let me bring your attention to a very interesting movement that Aruna Roy and others have been leading with a slogan that says, Hamara Paisa, Hamara Hisab. Now, that basically means that local money spent on local infrastructure must be transparently accounted for at a local level, so that anybody can just go on to, let's say, a website and check what was allocated, how was it spent.
Right.
Look at Narendra Modi visits Morbi, and overnight they have actually painted the entire hospital. Okay, they have redone the complete, in the middle of a disaster, they have redone the entire hospital and given it a makeover. So it's not as if they didn't have the money. It's just that nobody was there to put pressure on them, and the pressure, only fear.
Morbi is the case of the probe will show what happened. Was it corruption? Was it criminal negligence? Was it greed? Was it ineptitude? But I wish today we could say it was shocking that this happened in this country. Colonel Mahesh from Delhi is on the phone line. Let's listen to the viewers today. Let's give them equal time. Yes, Colonel Mahesh.
Yeah. Good evening, Tamanna. I have just three short points. Why is the FIR not even named the Oreva Group chairman? One, is it because if he is caught, he will sing like a bird and spill the beans and skeletons will come tumbling out of the cupboard? That's one. Two, the district administration, the district magistrate is an IAS officer. The SIT consists of IAS officers and they are probing their own. Do you expect something to come out? And lastly, the chief minister, I am told, is monitoring this SIT probe. Now, he is the minister who is in charge of those bridges. He should have actually taken moral responsibility and resigned. So, is this jurisprudence, and do we really expect justice to happen this way? These are the only 3 points I have.
Very succinct points. I want to bring Shatrupa ji into the discussion because a lot of comments coming on Morbi. What happened then? Why the FIR seems to be completely lacking? the fear remains that there will be a cover-up, Shatrupaji. That it's a state going into elections. It's a state going into elections. And, you know, the small fry will be caught. We discussed this yesterday on the show. The ticket seller, the security guard, आपने उनको पकड़ा है.
Tamanna, I think it's too early to say that, and these fears that BJP will not make an inquiry or the government will not make an inquiry is not very solidly founded. I think it's completely unfounded. In our states, yes, if there have been mishaps, we've made immediate inquiries and people have been, I don't know about the small fry part, but they have been immediately arrested and action has been taken. And more and more as the probe deepens.
Where is Jaisukh Bhai Patel?
So let me just complete, Tamanna. Tamanna, let me complete, please. I'm saying in each of the inquiries, especially when the Prime Minister wants an inquiry done, every inquiry goes to the deepest end possible. And I'm sure with time, we will reach the real perpetrators and action will be taken.
You know, I don't know if people are as sure as you are today, ma'am. I have callers. I have Srinivas from Bangalore. Do I have Mr. Sulak Mukherjee from Ahmedabad? I'd like to go to him if I have him. Okay, Mr. Mukherjee from Ahmedabad. What do you want to say on the kind of politics over what's happened in Morbi and how the focus seems to have shifted from how this company got the contract, why this was allowed, why more tickets were sold than people actually could fit on that bridge? What do you have to say this evening, sir?
I would like to ask you one thing. In the biggest democracy in the world, India, okay, the democracy, who's the government? I and you are the government, okay? If we are blaming the government, we are blaming ourselves. We are not blaming anybody else, okay? How much do we do if there's a pothole nearby our house? What do we do? Do we have a right to call our MLA? Do we have a right to call our municipal corporator? Do we have a right to call a panchayat person to come and do it? Nobody. Nobody knows shit about what right a person has in a democracy.
I understand you're emotional, but language, please, Mr. Mukherjee. I understand your emotions, but language, please. I get your point. What are our rights? We have a right to be taxed. We have a duty to be taxed. You would have seen a news headline today, ladies and gentlemen, highest ever GST collections were collected today. That's GST is tax everyone's paid. Where is it going? Mr. Mukherjee, you want to finish your point very quickly, sir?
To the Prime Minister's office.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. Yes.
I'm written to the Prime Minister's office that every citizen has a right to ask the person he has elected, okay, whether it is a panchayat, whether it is municipality, whether it is a MLA, whether it is MP, the person really doesn't know who is responsible for what.
Publicize their numbers. They should be available. There should be a helpline where you can call. Srinivas from Bengaluru. Srinivas from Bengaluru on the phone line. What would you like to say, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Tamanna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to air my views on this. And personally, what I believe is that accountability that these guys are talking about on the part of the politicians and the IAS officers is never going to happen, because they have their own vested interest in not happening. But however, I have a solution for this. I think if these facility providers, like in this case Oreva, is given very stiff penalties, both in terms of monetary penalties like in millions and billions of dollars as it happens in the West, or even like death penalty kind of a thing, depending on the graveness of the situation, I'm sure things will definitely improve. Because when I go abroad, I'm very, very comfortable and confident of going to such kind of places. Whereas out here in India, I'm extremely, extremely scared about getting into such kind of places, whether be it a bridge or
kind of, you know.
We want to live up to the same standards. We're one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Can we live up to those standards without the basics in place? Sudhir from Bengaluru. Yes, Sudhir.
From Chennai, not from Bengaluru. Basically, my point, what I would like to make here is nothing but, along with the political fraternity what we are living in, media is also equally responsible. Media always cover a story to kind of get their points or make their marketing. And they keep changing the tactics of, changing the headlines every then and there. And because of that, common man and public loses the focus. So if you see several cases in India, 1 week it will be always on the limelight. Second week you will change the topic and you will go on to somewhere else. Okay, whether it is in terms of, Ambani's house, there is a problem. Then it's gone to Shah Rukh Khan and then somewhere else. But today, as a public doesn't know where is that Ambani's case. Or we don't know what happened to Shah Rukh Khan's son. So similarly, this is the media hype which they create and they don't focus on things. So as an individual, as a citizen of the country, I feel ashamed to kind of follow up any of these politicians or as well as this media. Both of them are equally responsible and corrupted.
Okay, I understand your anger, sir. And I'm not going to whitewash the media. I don't represent the media. But at the end of the day, who are the elected members? Who do you vote for? Who do you pay tax to? We have to ask ourselves these questions. Sampath, are you joining me from Bengaluru? Sampath, you have to put your TV on mute. Otherwise, we'll be in an echo loop.
Hello, Tamanna. This is Sampath calling from Bangalore. It's a matter of concern and it's a great tragedy what has happened in Morbi. And people today try to only just convey their condolences and each party try to blame each other. That is the way which we have been looking, and perhaps this has been the case in every tragedy that happens in this country. It is what. And it is very apparent from this that none of the politicians, they even try to take any responsibility, the least of the responsibility on this. The people, ultimately the people must fix it up. I hope the people would be more responsible in electing a fair government and try to get work done properly. That is my viewpoint of this.
Let's get them to promise better infrastructure. Bharat from Mumbai, last caller this evening. We're going to be closing the lines. Yes, Bharat from Mumbai. What do you have to say, sir?
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity. My question is that the politicians of India are always on election mode. We don't fix any portfolios. They are having portfolios. They are not working on their portfolios. Always they are on election mode. And second thing, as far as public is concerned, when I saw the video of Morbi incident, I saw 10, 12 people shaking the net as if the net is not made of some concrete material. If you'll clearly visualize the video I've seen, 7 to 8 people in your video only, I can see that they are shaking very rapidly. So this is the nonsense from the point of view of public also. People also need to be careful and think that it is their life.
But Bharat, this is a suspension bridge. Don't you think we need to first investigate how the mechanics actually were? If this is not supposed to be done, was there a sign there? Was there anyone to stop people from doing something that was wrong and potentially dangerous? Where does the responsibility rest? I know what you're saying, but it's very easy to blame the victims.
Yeah.
Who takes responsibility? The person collecting 12 rupees per ticket, unki kya zimmedari hai?
Politicians are always on election mode. They are celebrating festivals. Election has become a festival in the country. They are least bothered about public. So we can't depend on them. Now we have to be careful for our lives. I had been there 2 days back. I saw this incident and I just got afraid. So I decided not to go further. I was there with my family. So
well, I'm glad you're back safe. I'm glad you're back safe, Bharat. I'm glad you're back safe. That must truly be traumatic. You know, we have done this show today because we want to hear your voice. Very often, newsrooms think about what they want to cover, and they think just having politicians fighting with each other is what we should be covering. No, we need to cover issues that matter. Mr. Hiranandani, I'd like you to, comment on some of the things that people have called up and said today. How deeply ignored this issue is.
Tamanna, I think we have kept quiet for too long, and I'm too glad that you are flagging this off and getting the people to talk about it completely. I think we are all equally responsible. The politician, the bureaucrats, the contractors, all are responsible. I think we have taken collectively a very irresponsible way of blame game that is taking place just now that we see. I think we really need to sincerely do it, punish the people who are at fault, yes, plan the cities better, work on the infrastructure with a higher level of commitment, see to it that these things are, the wrongs are put right. We have studied the issue that infrastructure will always pay for itself. There is no shortage of money for the purposes of putting up good quality long-term infrastructure which stays there. And a commitment of honesty to the people is absolutely imperative. But for that purpose, I think we have to all work together. The media, of course, myself as contractors, builders, developers, we need to make quality buildings, quality roads, quality sewage lines properly planned and other things. The dishonesty and corruption is quite well known. When we talk about departments which are corrupt...
Who gets punished? Who gets punished for it is the question. The problem is, till someone doesn't get punished for it, it won't help.
Punishment is secondary, Tamanna. First of all, we really need to work on a long-term planning for all these ideas and bring about a sense of responsibility for putting things right. If you get the sense of responsibility, whether it is in your own neighborhood or for a councillor or the smallest officer who is on the site, whether he is a district magistrate or whether he is any other person which is at the highest level of being the chief minister, I think we are all equally responsible, and each one of us must take responsibility for something like this which is happening. So,
I mean, I don't know how citizens are responsible for bridges that collapse, for roads that develop potholes.
But I mean, the flag off which we have to take place, the citizens must come out, and the way they have spoken today, they must continuously write and speak.
Demand these answers from those you vote for, at the very least. Look at what they're giving you. Yes.
No, Tamanna, 1 minute. The social media today, for instance, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have all the possibilities of doing it. I do think that there is a lot of avenues for the people to speak about very loudly. And I think we need to use all the media that is available. The internet is available. Various
time to speak up. It's time to speak up. We're trying to give you a voice here. I have to wrap it here. I have to wrap it here. But this is going to be an ongoing, story that we cover. Because I hope we never see another Morbi. I hope we get to the bottom of it. The BJP spokesperson today has said we will get to the bottom of it. We will see. We will see whether those who perpetrate this are actually brought to book. And we will see when the next infra collapse takes place. We hope it doesn't. Thank you to all of you for joining in. Thank you for your viewers, to our viewers for calling in and for lending your voice. I'm taking a very short break, but don't go away because we're right back with another very big story. The national capital is